Following their defeat in the Gold Cup final to Mexico, the United States will be looking forward. Brian joins me to talk about the state of the US team. Under Gregg Berhalter, will he have seen this as a positive or a negative venture overall?
I think, Gregg has started this with the same process of putting together a team, and the thought that he has is trying to build to something better than was before. Certainly, looking at the run into the Gold Cup, it wasn't necessarily looking that sharp. The group of players were still trying to find a better understanding of how Gregg wanted to play. And it didn't really click necessarily. Then get to the Gold Cup, you have games that you should win pretty handily and pretty easily, all while trying to figure out the process of playing a style of soccer that Gregg Berhalter wants. And for me, that's probably a positive. Certainly it wasn't fluid throughout the way we're going to want our U.S. men's national team to be playing in qualifying and hopefully eventually in the World Cup. It was a long way off from that. So a positive, I think, probably the fact that he was able to spend that much time with a group of players that will hopefully form the backbone of the team moving forward. But there's still plenty of room for growth. Is
the problem that they've seriously got now, the Mexico game was a real test. It was a serious test, and we saw sort of the drop-off in energy levels, or the maybe just not being able to execute the game plan in the second half as energy levels dropped. Mexico have the technique. Mexico have the players to call on.
Sure.
Berhalter knows that that's a standard they've got to get to. Playing competitively against that standard of team would appear to be the most positive thing they could do from this point on. Is the lack of competition in what they face now, between what is now a new qualifying process we heard today, with September, the Hex getting underway just over a year away, is the problem going to be that void in gaining from the Gold Cup experience? No,
I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think the issue is going to be, one, not being together at a length of time that Gregg just had with this group of players. And two, it really comes down to understanding that when you're playing against a better team, and especially a team that's going to press you high, we have to have the capability to either have an out ball straight, which was to Josie, or if a Josie type player, if somebody isn't there that's really going to be able to hold the ball up, how we can actually play through it. And to me, that's probably our next big issue, is we've got to start being able to play through pressure. And when you look at the way Gregg likes to play, and he has no problem skipping lines in the past when he was at Columbus, and you could see it a bit with Mexico in the first half, and it worked quite well. But if we don't have that player, we have to figure out a way to move the ball quickly through pressure and play with some continuity in an ability to break down another team. And you could see that in Mexico. As soon as Josie went out, they just pressed, and we had an extreme difficult time of keeping hold of the ball and creating opportunities for ourselves other than maybe going long over the top and getting a corner.
Okay, Brian, let's take a look at your preferred starting 11 as things stand right now. We'll take a look as well of options off the bench. But this is the 11 that you've gone with, and perhaps you can talk about certain areas that you're still worried about, but certain areas that give you hope for the future, and also where you might address some of the shortcomings.
Yeah, the Gold Cup showed that Long is ready. He's very good under pressure. He can play a ball over distance. He defends extremely well, and he was up for the competition. I thought Cannon had a great tournament, especially in the right-hand side in that last game against Mexico. And I moved him over to the left-hand side because there's a big concern there. And I think, Tim Ream did fine, but you add somebody with a heck of a lot of pace, and Tim's going to struggle. So you got Cannon there. I like this setup because, for me, Weston McKennie can just win balls, right? And he doesn't have to do much with it. He's got players like Adams and Pomykal who can move. Well, Pomykal himself, I think, is a player that can help with us building out of this pressure. He's good at turning on tight spaces. He can find little pockets, and he sees the game extremely well. And Tyler Adams, listen, I think he probably could play pretty much anywhere other than center forward for this team. Having said that, this team can move around. If Wes McKennie goes forward, Tyler Adams covers extremely well.
Right.
If Yedlin, makes a run up the wing, we have players that have, one, played a right back position in both McKennie and Tyler Adams, but who understand the game. The coverage is there. Tim Way is in there, and he's still raw, and so is Paxton Pomykal. But Timothy Way is a player that just, it seems like in the big games, he sort of steps up his game. He has the ability to run behind players. He connects well underneath he could connect well with Josie underneath. And I think Josie still provides that presence that United States needs. On the bench, you have, Sargent, who I think is going to be an excellent player. I hope he gets more time. And there's coverage all around there. So with Richards, and I think Horvath is a good goalie himself. So to me, this is a team that you can build on the foundation of what you just did at the Gold Cup, but also it's a team that can improve and actually cause other teams problems, regardless if it's at a lower level CONCACAF team or at a higher level that is going to be pressing you and probably have a little bit more of the ball than you will.
Everyone's had their say on where the US team figures right now, competitively in the region, in the rebuilding process, under a new coach, 7 months in now, Berhalter. How are you? How's the optimism on your level?
Yeah, I'm still optimistic. I think there's parts of our team that are still very good, and we probably haven't seen a lot of it or all of it that we can get out of it. I mean, Christian Pulisic needs to be on the ball more. And that's why I put him out far right. I think he against teams, especially that are pressing us or who are making it more compact, he'll have a little bit more space out there. And he's used to playing out there with Dortmund. Certainly can come in, and with a Yedlin overlapping or a Tyler Adams overlapping, you have the ability to help your best player be on the ball a little bit more.
Okay, well, Berhalter will have the upcoming friendly with Mexico, in which to try maybe some new players in the autumn. They also have the Nations League, the newfangled CONCACAF Championship, to get their teeth into games against Canada and Cuba, which might be more of a challenge to assemble those first choice players. But as of now, the US on an upward trend, trying to learn and build in the process.